I just want to introduce, I'm here with Brahmachari Premdas and then Brahmachari. So, discrimination. As science judges the relative speed of any object by one constant, the speed of light, so the devotee judges the relative merit of any idea by the one constant, God. Discrimination is clear only when it relates everything to the eternal absolute. Thus, while the intelligence may toy with ideas endlessly, discrimination asks, is this wisdom? Is it of God? True discrimination is not even the product of reasoning. It is soul intuition. Reasoning, even from the highest point of reference, is uncertain compared to the inspirations of superconsciousness. To discriminate clearly, meditate first. Ask God to guide your understanding. So let's do the affirmation together now. And we will do this first loud and then in a normal voice, then in a whisper. Then we will take it into the subconscious mind, which is not a problem. It's a good thing to have good things in our subconscious mind. And then we will again say it mentally and take it deep into our superconscious. So please first repeat aloud after me. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. And now in a normal voice, resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. And now in a whisper, resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. And now mentally, taking it deep into the subconscious mind, resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Again, mentally, doing our best to take it into the superconscious mind. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. And please pray with me. Guide me, Lord, that in all things I know thy will. For I know that only by thy will are all things led to perfection. Okay, I'll now hand it over to Brahmachari Premdas.
Thank you, Jemal. So today's topic is discrimination. Welcome again to everyone who are joining us. So I'm just going to repeat some more time the Swamiji's description of discrimination. So here Swamiji is explaining that the only way we'll be able to judge which is a right decision is by the one constant God. Okay, so the one constant God is the factor which will help us discrimination, is what Swamiji is telling us. And also he's telling here about the soul intuition, which will help us to make the decisions. So today evening, I'm going to take our topic in this way because everybody has this question, even while growing up, even now, each time we have to make so many decisions each day. And so each time, whenever we have to make many times important decisions, we get this question, what's the right decision? Should I go left? Should I go right? or should I do this, or should I do that? So picking up from this thread, and also here Swamiji is referring to that one way we can get to know what decision that we need to make is by meditating and then listening to the soul's intuition. So in the same way, today I'm going to share with you one incident. This happened maybe around 2015. This was during our Puri pilgrimage. That was a time when Jyotish and Deviji were leading a pilgrimage to the holy city of Puri, where Sri Yukteswarji had his ashram there. So during that time, one day I had to make this choice. So I had booked my train tickets to go to the Puri. It was a wonderful pilgrimage, by the way. It was like 10 devotees from various city centers had gathered. It was more like a small Kumbh Mela of Ananda Sangha. So during this time, I had to make a choice of while coming back. There was an important event happening in back then in my office. So I had to make this choice whether should I take a flight back or should I come back by train. So while thinking about this decision, somehow with my parents, I got the opportunity to visit a temple there. It was Pyramid Valley there, and I also got time to meditate. So I had to make this choice by evening. So anyway, somehow with God's grace, I got time to meditate, and I had a deep meditation that day. And after the meditation, I felt what decision to do. That is, in that case, it was more like to not even think of aeroplane, just come back by train. I did not know, no reason was telling why, but it just felt that was the right thing to do. I did my calls. I told them, sorry, people, I'll not be able to attend. And what happened, let me say. It was a wonderful pilgrimage. I could meet all these acharyas. Then we came back. Then I came back by train. And on the day when I was coming back, I realized I made a call to the friends telling that, sorry, I'll not be able to attend the event there at the office. And then they said, sorry, the event is also not going well because it is raining heavily here and we are not able to do much. So this is just one example. I think you all would have had so many examples in your life when you look back. This is just like one example. So now, this example is when I had this deep meditation and everything went well. So what happens when my mind is restless, and everybody has this challenging times. Now let's say my mind is restless and I have had many situations where I have to make a decision. So what do we do then? So you all would have faced this situation where the timing is tough, nothing is going your way, and you have to make these decisions. So now I'm going to narrate one incident which I remember from the book Swami Kriyananda as we have known him. Here in this case, a devotee, he's also a devotee of our path. He was he was in this situation where due to, I don't know, some hard time, he had to make one choice out of two options. So what can he do now? His mind, he's not able to meditate deeply from many days. All he can feel is peace. And so he has to make this decision now. So he starts praying to Master. Like, what shall I do, Master? This is the option, this is the option. Yeah, what to do now? He's not getting any answer from Master directly. So now, and there is also no attachment. He has come to a point where he's 100% surrendering these both choices, and he has no attachment to the both the situations. Then finally, he goes to Swami Kriyananda. Swamiji was there in the ashram. He goes to Swamiji and he tells to him, Swamiji, these are the two. This is the situation in my life. What should I do now? This is the option A. This is the option B. Then Swami Kriyananda smiled at him and said to him, Master is pleased that you have offered him both the options. No, I don't remember correctly. Sorry, I could not look up because I don't know where it was. So this is what I remember. Swami Kriyananda telling him, so Master is pleased that you have offered both the options to him. Now, even if you take any option, he'll bless you with it, or he'll his blessings will be there. Wow, this is so touching in a way that even during hard times, all we have to do sometimes is offer up to God all that we can and have no attachment to choices. It should not be like, I choose this and suddenly God tells you B and he says, no, no, I'm attached to A. So that was not there with the person. So that's how this was possible. So now at the same time, now I am also remembering one more thing. This one I read in, I think, newspaper long time back. Okay. So during hard troubled times, like some of the times we are facing now, and there was this devotee of God who was so close to God that each day when he used to walk on the beach, he used to see the footsteps of God walking beside him. So he used to do his activities with God. He used to do his work, stay with his family with God. So God was with him. There was he was still not completely realized. So there was some ups and downs. So now there is little bad karma. And now this hard times, all he could do is now just walk on the beach. And this time, when he looks beside him for the footsteps, they are missing. So it's like, God, where are you when I need you most? You were there when I was singing to you. Where are you now? So he doesn't get any answer. But again, the times go back. He's again steadfastly with God. He reaches God, and one day he asks to God finally when he sees him, God, I still have one question in my mind. What happened? Did I displease you? Or what happened? Why were you not there during that phase when I was facing hard times? And God smilingly tells, my son, it's because I was carrying you then. So I was not beside you walking with you, but I was carrying you through those trials. So friends, yeah. So I would say that I think it's time now to create this relationship with God, which is so much very important. If you build this, like Swami Shikteshwarji tells to Yogananda ji, if you don't invite God in the summertime, he'll not come in the winter. I'm rephrasing it. But the time for knowing God is now, and time for building the relationship is now. And okay, I think I have a few more minutes. I'll just tell one more small thing. So this is one more incident that happened to my friends. So there were three people staying in same house. Once they requested Jyotishan Devi ji to bless the house. So again, here there were two people who used to always come to center. Also, they had time and they used to come to attend satsangs. And there was one person in their house who was so busy with the work. The work was so hectic. But this person used to always think of Master and just pray to him. So when Jyotish and Deviji came to bless the house, first he blessed the first two persons' house rooms where they used to visit the center, and Jyotish and Deviji blessed them. And this person who narrated the story said, when Jyotish and Deviji went to the room in which this person who was not attending much center or showing up because of the heavy activity, and they said, no, they just entered the room and said, wait, we need not bless this room now. We already feel Master's presence very strongly here. They said, we feel Master's presence very strongly in this room. In this person's room who used to not attend Sunday satsang because somehow the timing was so hard in this person's life. And what made Master's presence so strong in this person's room compared to other persons? This person was thinking about Master from morning till evening. Off is here. So there was this relationship created with Master. So this is such a good thing to know that we all are not left behind, because we don't just thinking that we are not it there and Master. So all we can do right now is just start this relationship, start conversing with Master, God, Guru. So by this way, we'll just start up with this relationship, and then slowly we'll be able to make a speedway to God. By saying this, thank you for the opportunity. Jamalji, please. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Thank you, Premdas. So, discrimination. This reading here, discrimination is clear only when it relates everything to the eternal absolute. is a very important point. Premdas has been speaking about it, but that we have to constantly be asking, is this the decision that God wants me to make? And that's hard to know the answer to, obviously. But it's easier to think, is this what my guru would do in this situation? And that's a good way to go about it. But then the more important thing in this reading is that we cannot, even that step is good, but it's not the final step, because uh, reasoning really cannot take us to absolute truth. Um, that only soul guidance can. Only these silent whispers that come from we don't know where, from deep in our soul. And that is the only way we can know how and where to truly go. Um, actually, I will just say this, which is something appropriate to the moment in history right now. That honestly, it seems to me that there is no good, solutions are always there, so that's not the word. There is no good choice to be made for politicians right now about whether to keep lockdown going or not. That on one hand, politicians all over the world are seeing that if they release lockdown, that more people get the virus. Over here, if you don't release lockdown, whatever country you're in, that the economy is going to get worse, worse, and worse. And basically, politicians are in a situation of no matter which direction they go, people are going to die. And clearly, it's not an easy time to be a decision maker for a country. But here's the deep point there is that in this world, we think we're raised that if we just develop a big brain and go to school and learn all the facts properly, that then we'll be able to make good decisions and we'll be smart and good people. It doesn't work. It's not enough. That in life there's going to be decisions that no matter what you do, it's going to turn out very difficult. And then of course the mind asks, well, why would God make a world like that? There's a movie that I very much enjoy. Swami Kriyananda also enjoyed this movie. It is called Padre Pio, Man of Miracles. And it's about an Italian saint. And somewhere near the end of the movie, he says that a little boy, I guess, comes up to his mother, and the mother is doing some kind of perhaps knitting or something with, I don't know the names of these things, but with needle and thread type of thing. And the mother's sitting up on a stool, and the little boy's sitting down and looking up at the backside of this embroidery, let's call it. And the little boy says, "Mother, what are you making? It's so ugly." And the mother just calmly turns it over, and then the little boy can see it from the proper view, from the proper side. And it's like that with us. When we see this COVID, when I talk about politicians, no matter which way they go, people are going to die. And many people think, God, what are you doing? It's so ugly. It's so difficult. But we don't have the proper view. It's like seeing a chessboard and only seeing the dark squares and thinking it's all dark. But when you get the proper view and you can see both sides of the screen and see everything that's going on, the light squares and the dark squares, and see from above, then you can know that God has a plan and that God is doing everything perfectly. In this reading here, Swamiji talks about inclinations. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations. And this just raised a little interesting point within me, because I think hopefully everyone watching here knows that really what we need to do on the spiritual path is get rid of our desires. And once we get rid of our desires, we can reason clearly, we can feel clearly, discriminate clearly, that's the same as reasoning. We can understand life clearly. But desires is a strong word. Inclinations, it's a subtle word. It still means desires, but it means ones that aren't that strong, that aren't so pressing, but they're still there. And so this affirmation is resolutely I quell my desires. So it means we still need to have that inner resolve to suppress is not the right word for desires. What we learn to do on the spiritual path is that we, like a child again on a swing, I don't know if you remember being a child, but you can push your legs in a certain way and lean back and move the swing, and it will make the swing go higher and higher. Or you can counter that motion and you can make the swing stop just by simple movements of your body. The same way that in meditation, that by resolutely using a mantra and watching the breath, or there's many other techniques that we have, of course, the highest being Kriya Yoga, that we can still the storm of desires and just bring it all back to neutral. And it's not about forcefully pushing this thing away, it just comes back. It's about going into a space on the inside where those desires, where they can't live. It's like you turn on the light and the darkness, it has to disappear. And if we can turn on this inner light of peace, of calmness, and of inner joy that's not born of anything to do with the five senses or this outer physical world, that then we can see clearly. And it's just so important that we remember this. I've met many people in this incarnation, intellects that you just wouldn't believe, that they would do things that would take me, 20 minutes with a piece of paper to figure out, and they just, in 30 seconds or so, would focus and figure it out. And that too, it's good to have a good mind. I'm not saying those people are off. That's great. I too seek to develop my intellect as much as possible. However, I put that in balance with everything. I also do a little exercise every day to develop my physical body and keep it in shape. But to me, that's not the end goal of life, to develop my physical body so that it looks a certain way. I simply want to keep it healthy, so that I can continue the search for God. And so all these things must be kept in balance of how much are we developing ourselves physically, how much are we keeping our mind and our intellect strong, and how much are we developing our soul and calming the storms within and without to whatever extent we can, so that that light of the soul can shine through. So this really is the goal of the spiritual path. Um, and I'll close here by just saying that as we develop discrimination more and more, we wonder, where do thoughts come from? And we realize that we want, above all else, to attune our thoughts and our will to God's will. So God bless you all. Premdas will lead us now through the affirmations again.
Okay. So now we'll do the affirmation. We'll do it. We'll do it 5 times in a loud voice, 5 times in a medium voice, 5 times in a whisper, and then 5 times mentally, and 5 times offering it at the spiritual eye. So let's affirm. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, that my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely, I quell my inclinations, That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Last time. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Now in a medium voice. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Now in a whisper, resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclination. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Now mentally, subconsciously, repeat along with me in mind. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Now offering it at spiritual eye. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Resolutely I quell my inclinations. That my mind be open to the wisdom guidance of my soul. Now please pray along with me mentally. Guide me, Lord, that in all things I know Thy will, for I know that only by Thy will are all things led to perfection. Thank you for joining us today. And next week, our topic will be renunciation. Till then, let's be in joy, let's go out with joy, and let's share the joy with everyone. Thank you for attending this session.